everybody. Doing a gum chewing what I've been watching video today. I think it's been a little bit since I've done one of these. Part of me wanted to do it because we watched 3 movies yesterday on Saturday. I've watched some shows, so I figured I'd want to talk about it. And a big part of the main reason is one of the movies I kind of wanted to rant about. But yeah, it's been cold here. Obviously, like almost everywhere else right now, it's been freezing and whatnot. So just hanging out inside watching movies, and I'll get the ranting out of the way first. And it wasn't even because I hated the movie. It was for another reason. Leave the World Behind. The Netflix movie with Ethan Hawke, Julia Roberts. I forget the other guy's name. Kevin Bacon's in there briefly. It's a movie where it starts off there. They live in Brooklyn, I guess. Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts' family. I can't remember their names in the movie. Actually, I can't remember any of the people's names in the movie. Actually, no. The one guy's named G.H. or George. That's... Maybe someone was named... Fuck. I don't know. Whatever. Starts off, they live in Brooklyn, and Julia Roberts makes an impromptu, spontaneous, whatever. Oh, we're gonna go out to Long Island. We haven't had a vacation in a while, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't like people. So they're like, we're gonna go out to Long Island, okay? And, whatever. The family goes out, there's 4 of them. And they're driving. And parts of this movie were actually filmed on Long Island. Bethpage, I think. One of the beaches on the North Shore, I think it was like Sunken Meadow or something. And it was like filmed in a few other, obviously like part of the upstate, somewhere else or whatever. So they're driving, like, oh, we're going out to the Hamptons, and she's like, no, it's not. It's closer to the city, but it's not all the way out like the Hamptons or whatever. It's closer to the city. Okay, in my own mind, since I live on Long Island, I'm in Islip now. I used to be in Massapequa. I'm like, okay, maybe she's in Islip even, and I'm thinking South Shore because she mentioned the Hamptons. The Hamptons are on the South Shore of Long Island. I was like, okay, and maybe Bayshore, whatever. It's closer to the city, a good amount than the Hamptons is, right? And then, see, the house they filmed in was Bethpage because they rent a house, they Airbnb a house, and then they're on the beach one day, and a tanker comes ashore. No, the tanker's getting closer, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's like, oh, it's weird, and they go about their business. All of a sudden, you start hearing things have happened. All of a sudden, the city, New York City, well, the power's out and everything, but the lights are still on where they're at. Now, where they're in, I think it was Bethpage, it would make more sense there would be a little more woods around the house. The north part of Long Island, Northern Shore, is more kind of hilly and like little cliffs or whatever, and more woodsy. The South Shore is more beachy and shit like that, and flat. And then they're like, oh, this is weird. Their cell phones weren't working. That's what it was too. And then that night, it's the first night they're there. Dude shows up. Guy shows up with his daughter, and he's the owner of the house, right? He lives in the city too, but they came out to the house, and they're a little nervous at first, like, oh shit, this is a scam, what's going on? But he has like a key to a lock in the thing, and Julia Roberts is being like an asshole to these people, right? And Ethan Hawke's like, no, let him stay, whatever, because he's telling them what is happening in the city, and then they kind of believe him, right? You can't not. So they hang out. There's good tension in this movie, Julia Roberts' character was annoying as shit, but she was self-aware about it to even say, like, at one point in the movie, she's like, I was a real, not asshole, but I was like, the way I treated you as a jerk or whatever. And, but this stuff goes on from there, right? Ethan Hawke leaves the house in the morning, try to find something. People. He finds a Spanish woman, and she can't speak English, so he can't understand her, and she's going, she's scared. Shit's happening, everybody, And he drives off. You can tell he feels terrible about it, but he drives off, right? Leaves her there. And he sees like this drone thing dropping leaflets, and it's in this pamphlet say it's like in Arabic, and the one kid knows from Call of Duty or something that says "Death to America" or whatever. So stuff keeps on going on. The bad things happen. All of a sudden, there's these weird sounds starts messing up. The kid gets really messed up from the sounds, like radiation levels and shit. And you find out why this is happening and who's doing it. And they're like with the pamphlets and stuff. Like they talk about how pamphlets in California were in Korean and these ones were in Chinese. So whoever's doing it's trying to make it seem like this country did it, that country did it, this, these people did it. Messing with people's heads. I'm not gonna say you find out like very briefly at the end, who's kind of responsible for it. And the movie has good tension with the families, and then they kind of get to like each other, and they kind of don't. And shit's going down. There's some cool scenes in there. Like the one guy goes, GH, the owner of the house, goes to another neighbor's house, and a plane crashes there because everything's going nuts because electronics are screwed. Well, that kind of shit, But I'm not gonna go too much into the movie. The ending's not stupid. It's just it should have been a longer movie. They should have explored more of it, and it was just kind of like, But because the youngest daughter is obsessed with Friends, and that plays into the ending. She can't watch the last episode of Friends, right? But like I said, shit just keeps happening. It's like it's a wave attack, and it goes in things like the movie's like a part whatever, the curve part, something, the flood. And I was like, oh, the flood's coming from Halo. Now it's gonna get really messed up. But the thing that annoyed the shit out of me about this movie, and it if you're not from Long Island, it's not gonna matter. But there, at one point, because the kids' teeth start falling out from these radiation levels, from these sound they're producing every occasionally, and animals' migration patterns are changing. You hear that briefly, because the TV and the phone kind of come on and off the radio very briefly, and then go back off, and you find out like migration patterns are messed up because flamingos appear in the pool at one point, and the deer are doing all this shit. It's like herds of deer everywhere. But they're on Long Island, and they said we're not going all the way to the Hamptons. We're going to be a little closer. Okay. They had to have been on the North Shore because there's a part where they walk over to a little cliff, and the city is clear as day, as if they were probably in maybe like a Glen Cove, or maybe like an Oyster. I don't know. I don't know these. I don't know how the visibility of the city is from the northern part of the island. Maybe Oyster Bay, which is Nassau County, which is extremely much closer to the city. It's not like, we're going a little bit out. We're going out there, but not too far. No. You are literally across the river from, I guess it would be the bay. You'd be over, it would have to have been Long Island Sound, sorry, not the bay. Because you wouldn't be seeing it from the South Shore. Not if they were out, even if they were in like an islip or a bay shore, even a Massapequa. There's no way you're not seeing the city from anywhere there. And certainly not that visibility. It was literally like right there. And because they want to get the kid to the hospital because his teeth are falling out. He's puking up blood. And we can't get to a hospital. The only way back to the city or wherever is the expressway. What? They were trying to make it seem like Long Island was in the middle of nowhere, which is insane. The only way that would have made sense if they were literally actually all the way out in the Hamptons or Montauk itself, where it opens up and you see farmland and stuff. But even still, a place like Riverhead is still extremely populated. We can't get to a hospital. There's probably 100 hospitals on Long Island. They're everywhere. Are you kidding me? The only way out's the expressway. Now, I would assume he's talking about the Long Island Expressway, so they would have had to have been on the North Shore. Which also doesn't make, I guess you'd say the Hamptons because that's where people from the city with money love to go, right? Not that these people are filthy rich, but they love to go to the Hamptons. You actually see the signs if you go out there. We went to Montauk once, and you'll see people put up signs in the Hamptons like, stay the hell out of here, city folk. But Okay, fine. You're on the North Shore. But there are so many ways to get back towards the city, not just the southern state, the northern state, Long Island Expressway, obviously, because there's a part where they come across a bunch of dead Teslas. And all of a sudden they start flying towards them because, the computers went nuts, so they start flying off the lots and driving themselves. So the car, all right, fine. It's jammed up. But they're acting like they're in the middle of nowhere. You know how many roads there are? They could have gone down the Seaford Oyster Bay at that point, because I would assume they're in Nassau County. This is going to be just me ranting about this freaking movie. They could have went down Seaford Oyster Bay, freaking multiple roads that run north-south. Wantaw State Park, what was it called that? The Meadowbrook. Anyone. You could have went back out further east to the Sagatoes. It doesn't matter. There's multiple ways into the city. It's not just the expressway. We're doomed. Like, this is Long Island. You can figure out ways. You can't really get lost on Long Island, and you're not in the middle of fucking nowhere. Okay? And whatever, if you don't know Long Island, you're not going to care. It doesn't matter. But I was just like getting unusually pissed about this. We can't get to a hospital. There's no way. Really? There was probably, from where they were, on the map, where that actual house is on the map, there was probably a hospital within 10 minutes of where they were. I was getting pissed. Overall, the movie was alright. The tension was good. The ending was kind of stupid. I wish they would have explored more stuff. But it built good tension and shit like that and fear. But I probably would have given it like a 6.5 out of 10 or something. Because I can't let my biases about them shit in the bed on like Long Island's like whatever, logistics or whatever. Like, I always say that, like, someone will cut 5 people off on the southern state or wherever, whatever parkway there is. Sunrise Highway's another one. Hang on. They'll cut them off because they got to get off at their exit, even though there's an exit 5 feet down the road. You cannot lose much time on Long Island, even if you miss an exit, because there's an exit every, like, almost half a mile, it seems. But anyway, yeah, that was that. Rant on that. Then we watched Five Nights at Freddy, which I enjoyed. I only played some of the first game. I might have played some of the second too. I'm not huge, and I haven't played a lot of things, but the movie was cool. A lot of people who like the game say it's very true to the games. Good movie. Not really gory. It was more like implied gore. You didn't see a lot of stuff happening on screen, but as the kid, Josh Hutcherson, was he in the Hunger Games? He was also in that bizarre show. It might have been on Amazon. Future Man, I think it was called. Matthew Lillard's in there. I don't know the names of the other people. But he takes the job at Freddy's. Like, he has a problem because Josh Hutcherson's character, because his brother was kidnapped when he was young, and he was kind of considers himself responsible. He was just kidnapped. And he keeps, like, trying to get himself back in the dream by listening to nature sounds, because they were in, like, a park, like a campsite, listening to nature sounds, and he puts up, like, this Nebraska thing. I guess that's where they were, as opposed to... He's trying to get clues, but he's messed up, right? He works in a mall security, and he beats the shit out of this guy because he thinks they're kidnapping, which actually was their kid. So he gets fired, and then he has got to take this job at Freddy's, and Freddy's is closed down because of these disappearances of these kids. They never found the bodies. Everybody knows, right? If you played it, you know it, right? The animatronic things. Freddy, I forget their names. Freddy's the one, though. And they're all the spoilers, but they're haunted by the kids. And then you find out, like, the killer is kind of manipulating them. Good movie. It was a solid movie. I'm surprised it was only 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, because I think it was better than that. It should have more been like the 50s or something like that, 60s. Solidly acted. Nice little movie. Gotta say, Matthew Lillard's like 50. He's 53. I look at him like, he's aged well. I'm like, Matthew Lillard, he's aged well. That one was pretty good. And pretty good story. The story's solid. It's actually a pretty solid story. And that's like the game too, obviously. But the place is shut down, and the owner doesn't want to. Nostalgic reasons, and you'll find the reasons for all that stuff, and little twists or whatever. But that was a good one. I'd give that one like an 8 out of 10. I have nothing to rant about on that because it didn't take place on the island, and you can't get to hospitals that are freaking every 10 minutes. And then we watched Thanksgiving last night, and That was cool too. Another horror movie, thriller, whatever. Takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts, so they're big on Thanksgiving. And the Right Mart, the place is called, but they're opening up on Thanksgiving, the day itself, and everybody's losing their shit outside. And then these kids get in because the daughter is the daughter of the owner of the store, so she can get him in the back way. People start getting pissed, and they see him in there, and they bum rush the place. Typical people acting like lunatics for these sales. Even it's not too far off of what it used to be like. I never thankfully went to that, but you'd see stuff on the news, people just getting excited for the most random shit as if shit doesn't go on sale constantly. But people get killed, and then the following year, a killer starts killing the people that, the people who got in early, the kids who got in early, and the people saw it, which started everyone getting pissed. And then other people that were like, this one security guard runs away because it's too much for him to handle. This other woman has got a cart, and the woman gets killed because her hair gets caught inside the wheel of the cart. She gets all messed up. Killer starts killing these people and shit. Patrick Dempsey's in it. I think Gina Gershon was the one in the beginning. Was that who that was? And the one guy I recognized, he wasn't in a ton of it. The other people I didn't recognize. The one kid was in School Spirits. I did recognize him from that. It's pretty good. This one was extremely gory. It was solid though, the motivations. It's like whodunit type movie. It was pretty good though. Some of the kills are pretty nasty actually. Like this one girl's on a trampoline, she's bouncing on a trampoline, and all of a sudden the knife comes up and just starts jabbing her. And she keeps like bouncing up after she's been stabbed, getting stabbed further. What else happened? The one woman got, first he put her head in like a vat type thing, where she worked at a diner, and then put it up against the frozen door of the fridge, and she peels herself off there, but then she tries to get into a dumpster, and he hits her with a car, and she splits in half. Someone also got split in half in Five Nights at Freddy, actually. Freddy's. Thanksgiving was good. It was gory. I can't even remember the kills in this freaking movie. The one guy just gets his head bashed in with like a tenderizer, or the one woman gets cooked. That's a turkey. That one was pretty good as well. I'd go with like a 7 out of 10 on that one. Those are the movies I watched. I honestly just wanted to rant about the Long Island thing. Like I said, if you weren't from Long Island, you're not from Long Island, you don't, even if you've never been here, you're not going to care. You're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But for some of you, you're like, no, that doesn't make sense. We're not going to go that far. Fine. Even if they were on the North Shore, further out into Suffolk County, you might be able to get that. Not that kind of view. You would maybe be able to see the city, but not like this. They were literally like, I feel like if you hopped on a boat, you'd be back in the city in like 10 minutes. But it was almost the hospital stuff too. Like we can't get to a hospital or the only way out to the expressway, which is complete bullshit. Like, and then making it seem like it was in the middle of nowhere, which is just no. If you live on Long Island, you're not in the fucking. You'd like it, but you ain't in the middle of nowhere. Even if you live on the North Shore, those northern towns, and you have like a nice house with maybe an acre or two of some woods, there's still another house close. Because she's like, oh yeah, the nearest house is a couple miles down the road. I'm like, bullshit. The next house was realistically, the next house would be maybe a quarter mile away, if that. Now, if you were all the way out east again, even still. But yeah. And shows, we watched Reacher. We finished that up. Reacher season 2 was good again. I think I liked it more than the first season. It was a little bit better. He's with his army buddies in this one, and they're getting killed off because they found it. A few of them came across this like thing that was happening, and it goes from there. Reacher actually shows more emotion in this season, like concern and stuff, especially with his group that has died and stuff. It's a good movie though, good action as always, and good banter between the characters and wise-ass remarks and shit. Reacher doing the shit he does. His feats of strength. like kicking the car and the airbag goes off. Robert Patrick was in it as the bad guy, of course. And they actually have a joke with, he's talking with someone, he's like, yeah, something about like the Terminator, and he's like, I don't know who Sarah Connor is. Obviously he played the T-1000, whatever one he was in Terminator 2. But that was cool. I'm not going to go too much into that. I just wanted to talk about the movies more. I want to talk about this show a little bit, though. So watching the show. It's called Killer Coaster on Amazon. It's a French show. So we have it in French with the subtitles. You can't do dubbing in other languages in French, which I'm fine with. I don't mind. I actually prefer to watch the show. I don't mind the subtitles. My fiance is a little more annoyed by them. I don't mind subtitles. I'd rather watch in the native language because the acting's better and it's not weird. It's not like off key, the mouth's moving and it's still going because the languages aren't matching up. It's called Killer Coaster, and this woman's like a parking ticket attendant, meter maid, whatever they call them, right? And she fancies herself a cop, and she tries to catch this guy, and she's chasing him in the beginning because he steals a purse and she sees, and she goes and chases him, and he goes into the carnival amusement park and gets killed. And it goes from there. She all of a sudden becomes part of the carnival, pretends she's like this person's cousin who works at the carnival. Like these four families own parts of the carnival, right? And they're vying to get more parts from each other and stuff like that, so I guess they have control over it. You find out why the one family wants to make this big. They don't want to keep moving around because carnival folk are like, they call them gypsies in the show. They're always moving around. And he wants to make like a permanent theme park, but he needs to get all the other families to sell stuff to him. But more people keep getting killed. An insurance guy gets killed. It's a comedy kind of horror thing. And the show is legitimately funny to me. I can't tell you this one part. The one girl kills her father's dog by accident. Hits him in the car. So they gotta bury him. And somebody digs him up. Like the killer, I guess, digs up one of the bodies that these other people buried because they want the cops involved. Because cops don't like the carnival people. And then they dig up the dog too, but then they get the dog, like the dad's talking with the daughter, and the daughter hasn't told him the dog's dead. Just say it's missing. And they had the other two people are under the bed hiding with the dog, and an eye pops out of the dog's body. And the guy's like, what's this? And the daughter picks it up and eats it. Oh, it's candy. I was like, there's legitimately funny parts. I would check it out because it's goofy. It's funny. And there was just a part where like the daughter's now pissed at the father for something else. And the guy comes in and they're saying each other's names, and the daughter just says blood relative to the dad. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. Like, that's a pretty funny thing to say to someone you're pissed at, a family member, blood relative. Like, don't say their name. That's a funny show. I checked that out. It's on Amazon. So's Reacher. No one's died on the coaster yet, but there's a roller coaster in the amusement park. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. I really just wanted to rant about that Long Island stuff, honestly. Hopefully you guys get a kick out of it. Because if you lived somewhere, wherever, and the movie's supposed to take place there, and they're like way off the mark on things, it's like you're gonna get annoyed, I would think, But for anybody else who doesn't know Long Island, they're gonna be like, I don't give a shit where the fuck they are. I don't know the hospital situation there. If you could only get off of Long Island by the expressway, we'd be doomed. Okay, if anything happened, we'd be doomed anyway on Long Island. Like if the bridges went out or some shit, we'd be fucked. It'd be boat. You have to get on that shit boat. But yeah, that's just I'm chewing what I've been watching and a rant on Leave the World Behind. And thanks for checking this out. Have a good day.